Mad Max Fury Road was released nearly a decade ago on May 15th, 2015, and it still stands the test of time as being one of the greatest action films of all time. George Miller set out to create a Mad Max film about being one long chase, having humans be the MacGuffin. Something as simple as that almost never works out, and due to the film having a 2-hour-long runtime, it could be more boring than anything else. But somehow, with the odds against this film, it worked, and it cemented its place into pop culture and film history. With the newest entry of Mad Max, Furiosa, it felt like a good time to talk about this incredible piece of art. Spoilers ahead for Fury Road as well as the Mad Max series. Since I have almost no criticisms with this film on a technical level, I'll start with the one thing that bugs me the most about this film in particular, and that's how the film fits in with the original Mad Max timeline. You see, Fury Road kind of messes with the original timeline. In The Road Warrior, the second Mad Max film, Max's interceptor gets destroyed by the end of the film, and Max wanders the wasteland until we get to Beyond the Thunderdome. And in Beyond the Thunderdome, Max is much older, and although that film is not very good, it acted as a bookend for the trilogy. But in Fury Road, Max still has the interceptor, and it gets destroyed by the end of the film. It is pretty minor, I know, but it does hurt the timeline in a bad way. But a way that you can try to make yourself forget about this, as well as the Tom Hardy recast as Max, just think to yourself that this Max is not the Mel Gibson Max. Let me explain. You see, in The Road Warrior, Max befriends a child simply known as the Feral Kid. The kid has crazy grown out hair and is mostly silent throughout the film. Max in Fury Road also acts completely different from Gibson's Max as well. So the way that I see it is that the Feral Kid took on Max's persona and impersonated him in the events of Fury Road. Although this theory was confirmed not to be true by George, to me, I see Max as a legendary figure, that his actions go beyond the original Max himself. But at the end of the day, it's whatever you want to think for that bit of the story. But besides that, I really have no complaints whatsoever. With a film with no script and only storyboards, it shows in the final cut. Each action scene starts and ends smoothly with moments in between to give our heroes enough time to relax for a moment before the action ramps up again. And even though it's just one chase for the whole film, it keeps us interested with the amount of different set pieces. And what makes it even better is that almost all of it's practical. Somewhat. Some great moments are just clever splices in the edit to make something look closer than it is, or completely adding two different shots into the frame. But it's almost seamless, and you could miss it if you're not paying attention. The CGI in this film, although disliked by many of the fans of the series, is done well and effectively when it's needed to be there, and sometimes it makes the already epic film even more epic. The editing in this film is also top-notch. Margaret Sixel, the editor of Fury Road, as well as George Miller's wife, made it possible for this film to be as good as it is. With a lot of quick cutting and moving action scenes, it should be hard for the audience to keep up with what's going on. But Fury Road uses more traditional center framing for almost the entirety of the film, which basically means that the key focus of every shot is relatively in the same spot. So when the audience is watching, they don't need to move their eyes as much to follow along with the action. Something like that nowadays is hardly in action movies, and especially not the entire length of one either. No wonder that this film won an Oscar for Best Film Editing. The behind the scenes of this film also shows that almost the entirety of all the shots in Fury Road have some sort of VFX to it, that gives it that yellow grungy look to it. But besides that, all the practical stunts, costumes, and vehicles make this movie stand out against the slop they release now. In fact, the whole history of making this film itself could be its own movie. Like, go look at the behind the scenes for Fury Road, and you can just see how stressful the experience was for everyone. You can tell that George Miller really wanted to create something great with this film, and you can see it through every second that you are watching. But to make this short, Fury Road is an incredible piece of modern-day filmmaking, as well as a great action film. This is definitely a must-watch film. Mad Max Fury Road is a 9 out of 10.